All right, welcome back, everyone, to session 4 of Stranded. So thanks for joining us. Before I pass it off to the Dungeon Master Keith, I do have a few things to plug really quick. First one, three things actually. First one, if you are a member of the Dungeon Master Patreon, I made some fun monster blocks over the weekend. Go check them out. They're the Knoll Hunters. I think they're available for the Jedi tier and Master tier for our Jedi Master patrons. They're fun. They probably will make an appearance in Invasion. Reflavored, of course, but they probably will come over there sometime. But it was a suggestion of one of our patrons. They wanted to make a group of Force Hunters called the Knolls that hunt down both Jedi and Sith. And for the Invasion crew, you guys realize that kind of fits some of the themes there. And there's definitely something we can have with that. So they're fun monsters. I had a blast putting them together. So go check that out. The other thing to mention, this month is for August. We're doing Blades in the Dark as our game of the month. So check out our YouTube for some videos on that, and then join us Wednesday the 31st at 7. We'll be doing a one-shot with the Blades of the Dark system. A couple of the crew here, too, will be joining us for that, and be giving away a copy of the PDF. So come through, check that out. But I'm going to be quiet and turn it over to Keith.
All right, so welcome to session 4. In our last session, we'll do a quick recap. So the group went out to find kind of the mysterious message that was coming from the planet in hopes that maybe there was some technology left behind, or maybe just to kind of solve the riddle of who's been on this planet and why. And so initially, they made pretty good pace. They were able to keep the speeder traverse actually the river by making an impromptu land bridge. And when they got to the site, though, they found an abandoned lab that looks like it had been broken into. It had been either abandoned, or the inhabitants, were no longer there for probably hundreds of years, for a pre-cataclysm timeline. It was, Republic era technologies and buildings. Inside, they were able to recover some data disks, and along with the message. And the message, I have to find the exact wording on this, was... All right, I'm just going to give you off the top of my head. This might not be exact, but it was basically that that the eclipse was incoming, and that the personnel were to evacuate the planet. And it just kept playing on a loop over and over. The data disks they were able to recover, but they were unable to kind of get them in a usable format. They're going to have to take them back to the base and try to get that data a different way. The other thing they found in there was a lab with some tubes. Many of the tubes were broken. The intact tubes were empty. And then some bunks. So upon kind of finishing their investigation of the building, they went to return to the base. I apologize about my dog here. Return to the base. But the local inhabitants, the Shaobats, had kind of set a little bit of a trap for them. There was the path had been blocked by a fallen tree, and they were attacked. They luckily were able to kind of fight the Shaobats off, who were trying to take them to the worms. And a kind of inspection of the bodies, you found a trinket that looked like the worms, and it was clearly like an idol of some kind, like maybe they worship them, or maybe they worship one of the worms. And so after fighting them off, unfortunately, now they hear in the woods that there is more pursuit, and there are more coming. So we're going to open the story with how they escaped this situation. So the crew is all on. So you do have your speeder. Now, the one person not with the group is Fours, who during this time was traveling with the captain south to try to do some surveying and maybe try to actually find a path that if they needed to evacuate, they could move the refugees out of the current region they're in. So Fours, upon hearing the distress, is moving to assist, and that's where we're going to start up. And so we're going to do this through a skill challenge. And if you have not seen a skill challenge before, I kind of do it a little bit different. But let me go ahead and just post the rules. So, all right, everyone should see that. Did it pop up for you?
Ooh, it did.
All right. I guess before we started, does anyone have any kind of questions or anything else that they want to add to the recap or kind of clarify with that?
No, that all sounds good. We got beat up that fight. We survived.
The dice was not going your way.
Well, I mean, most of you got beat up that fight.
Yeah, from what I saw, you guys got beat up in that fight. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, oh man. After, well, yeesh. Okay.
All right.
I do like how you guys blamed almost the entire session on Force. I heard it, the whole thing. There were several times like, this is Force's fault. Leave us alone. We're not chaperone. I was like, okay.
I mean, who would let this bunch out, unchaperoned?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm surprised we did as well as we did. So,
yeah, so the skill challenge is a little bit, so it's going to be narrated, and pass or fail is going to depend on a skill check. So what the group is going to have to do is make 5 skill checks successfully. A success is a 14 plus. If you roll a 20, it counts as 2 successes. If you roll a 1, it counts as 2 failures. And you cannot use the same skill twice. That means for the entire group. So if one person uses athletics, no one else can use athletics. You can use the help action. You can do that as a 10 plus, but it requires your action. Now, in the case of Burger, you may use the help action as a reaction, but it still counts as your action, if that makes sense. But everyone else, you'll have to determine if that's what you want to do.
Oh, because I have a companion.
Because you can use reaction as a reaction, right? That's like a
You're thinking
feature
of
that you-
Caesar.
yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Unfortunately,
God,
you can't do that then. No, the companion won't kind of play into this, so this will just have to be
Dang.
your skill. So sorry. So Caesar was here; he could use it as a reaction. So you'll have to determine whether you want to do the help in advance of the roll, and you'll make that same skill check with a 10 plus. If you succeed, that person gets advantage. Now, here's where there's the catch. So you have 2 rounds to make the 5 successes. And everyone gets 1 action. On the 3rd round, there is no more skill checks. Everyone will just make a con save, and it'll be a group average of whether you succeed or not. So after round 3, things can get a little dicey. The failure is if you fail 2 times, the group loses the speeder. If you fail 3 times, the group is captured. All right.
All right. And we've got 3 inspo, right?
You actually, I was gonna. Thanks for mentioning that. You have max inspo. You have 5. You've never
Okay.
used any.
That changes today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it should be easy, considering that you get 5 rerolls. When it's for a skill check, obviously it works like normal. So if you are making your skill check, it counts as a reroll. You can use an inspo. Now, if we get to the point where it's a group con save, that's just pass or failure. If you use an inspo, only one person gets the reroll of the group check. So just kind of FYI. Not everyone gets to reroll on that.
Makes sense.
Okie dokie.
All right. And so you guys will have to tell me, how are you going to do this? So the speeder, you can definitely pilot it and try to get it out of there. There is the log in the middle of the trail, so you'll have to find a way around it, through it, over it, or however you want to kind of go about this.
I know what my skill check will be, but I will save that till after the log has been dealt with.
Tavik will kind of he's looking at hurt, but he sees the path or the enemies down and hears them chase them, and he's going to rush towards the log and see if he can kind of just hurl it out of the way, or at least push it enough out of the way for the speeder to get past.
All right. Is anyone going to help?
I can give potent aptitude. This is something I keep forgetting I have, but this time I've remembered.
We won't be doing like guidance or any of the bonuses. But if you wanted, well, you know what? I'll actually let you do that as a help action. If you wanted to use your action as a help, just give me a tech check. So whatever it would be for a tech, and if you get a 10+, I'll count that as a help.
But it would take mine, my action, right?
It would take your action. Yep.
Tavik's pretty good in case you have something cool you want to do. Now I say that, but I was rolling terribly last week. But
you got 5 inspo.
Yeah. You know what? The Reclaimers got confidence in Tavik, so unfortunately, no help action.
Sweet. So I'm gonna roll athletics for this one. He's gonna dash in and hopefully move that. Damn.
Yeah. Trying to do it one-handed is pretty difficult.
Use the inspiration.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn first. Yeah, he's feeling like you see him.
And if you want, maybe if you want, Forrest will actually give you some inspiring words over comms and be like, "Dude, you can't lift like that. Come on, put it all in there. Go!" And he's flexing though nobody can see it, but you hear the grunt. So.
I can see it.
With Thor's audibly flexing and lecturing him over the comms, he is going to give it another shot. Burning an inspiration.
Do I need to roll?
Yeah.
Do I need to roll something?
Are you actually doing anything?
Yeah, are you taking?
Yeah, well, I mean, do I need to roll to give the? Yeah, I'm going to try and help him.
Yeah, so whatever charisma check you want to make, probably persuasion or whatever you think is going to fit the situation.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. It's going to be persuasion at this point because I was hoping athletics, but you can't see me do it. So, okay. So it sounded good. Maybe the grunts threw you off. Yeah, maybe the grunts threw you off. So you don't get the help from me.
Yeah, it's a Tavik strains and strains, but this log is far more than he could take.
All right, you guys are off. Not to a great start. So there's one failure. Yeah, that's better than 2 failures.
True.
Yeah.
Yes. Throws a log into the speeder.
Depending on how this goes, maybe.
Well, if we get 2 fails, the speeder breaks, so he'd have to do something with it.
All right. Anyone else want to go up next?
Are you gonna do what I think you're gonna do? Because I'm gonna say, hey, let's just try driving the speeder over the log.
All right. I almost said reanimator. I don't know why. Reclaimer. They both start with free. Reclaimer is going to. He's going to get on the speeder, and he's going to floor it.
Are you gonna wait for the rest of us to hop on, or
he'll make a motion for everyone to jump on?
Tavik will hop at the back, like kind of waving his mechanical arm at Orgus. No words, just waving the arm at him with a glare.
and Forrest will just chime in and be like, "Hey, you can go back the way you came. I mean, you don't have to drive over the log that could destroy the speeder. Just saying."
Yeah.
Weighing the
Lord.
weighing the possibility of being left behind versus dying instantly in a crash. He's like, I'd rather die instantly in a crash, and hops on board.
I'm going to say that you can see, so Tavik is actually moving the log. It's just kind of slow. But if you'd be a little patient, you'd make it. But then Revelation or Reclaimer just guns it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Piloting time.
there we go.
21.
Nice. There you go. So you gun it and just ramp the log. So that is 1 success and 1 failure.
Yes, I am a genius. As like flying through the air. How do we land?
Well, with that in mind, the good doctor's affinity for nature, which might be surprising to some, he's going to use that to try and chart a course through the ever increasing speed of the speed through the forest.
All
And
right.
make a. Would that be nature?
Yeah, you could do nature survival.
In nature.
Right.
Nice.
Hey, there you go.
Hey.
All right.
All
So you're
right.
able to plot a nice course and make up some good ground. So you move kind of a little bit closer to safety. 2 successes and 1 failure.
And
And
what about force?
Well, I assisted.
Yeah, he did the
Tavik.
help.
That was my action.
No, like where is he?
so he
I'm
is
somewhere
looking through the
nearby.
woods. Yeah. So I'd say you're down in like here, Forrest. You're coming. You're gonna meet him. You'll meet him up here. All right.
Yep.
So now it's the beginning of the second round. So you kind of hear they're still kind of closing in from all directions, but you're in a speeder, which means you're moving pretty quick. As long as you can stay ahead of them, you'll probably be all right. But you do know that they are very versed in the woods, and you can kind of hear them all around.
I have an idea, but it can wait.
Go for it unless you really want to wait for it.
No, I'll wait just in case there's failures first, because I have good feeling.
I mean, if we get another failure, the speeder is going top over end.
That is true. So in that case, I'm gonna
Mhm.
do my thing now because it requires the speeder. With technology, can he quickly just soup up to go even faster?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
as driving, just pop the top open,
Yeah.
just let it fly by, and then just start working on it.
So if you fail on this one, then we all know how the speeder died.
Exactly.
I'd like to help.
No.
Not that it matters.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you.
Inspo,
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The inspiration.
Yeah. So if you want to take the help
Yeah, you
before
could
you
do
roll
the-
before the inspo, if you want to take the help, you can go for it, and he'll have advantage on the inspo.
Okay, so that would it be the same skill?
Yep. Well, if there's something else that makes sense, I'll give it to you.
Technology. Yeah, he's pretty well versed.
Okay.
I should have been
All
the
right.
technology man. But yeah, go
Oh.
ahead, burn the inspo, and let's see what this droid can do.
I'm having flashbacks to a grapple attempt.
Oh, you have
There
advantage.
you go.
Got the 15.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. So you burned 2 inspo so far, but you do have, is that 3 successes?
3.
3.
Yeah, that's
All
it.
right. So yeah, with the help of Orgus, you're able to soup up the thing, and it's just blazing through the forest right now, just way faster than anyone should travel with trees around you. But you are clearly outrunning any pursuit.
Could be actually leaving a streak of fire as we go through.
We're gonna say at this point the speeder is smoking. So
Yes.
Smoking.
Take that,
We need
Shaobat.
2 more, right? 2 successes.
yep, 2 more successes.
Yeah, so Tavik will, as Reclaimer sparks that thing or smokes that thing away, just kind of has a jet through the forest. He is going to try to kind of listen out and see kind of figure out where the sounds of pursuit are coming from, and kind of shout out to Reclaimer to go in like the opposite direction, so kind of maneuver away from where the noises are coming from.
All right.
So we'll try a perception for that one, and 2 nat ones.
All right, so that's 5 more.
Well, you
and
gotta-
I'll have a feat.
So does the help action cause a failure, or you just can't help? I just want to make sure.
I don't think you do it retroactively, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So
but I will say if you want to try to help again, you can give him advantage on the inspo. I assume you're going to burn another inspo.
oh yeah.
So yeah, you can if you want to give him advantage on the inspo, but he'll get the inspo no matter what.
So
I'm not
Me-
sure I understood that.
you gotta, if you're gonna help him, you should roll now, and then because we're gonna burn the inspo, then he'll have advantage on the follow-up roll.
Right.
So you gotta see if your help succeeds with your own check.
Yep. You
Yep.
gotta be a 10 or a 10 or better.
So you must make a roll for it.
And at this point, I'm going to
so-
say Fours is probably coming in range. You can probably at least hear the speeder. It's flying right towards you. So it's, if there's something else that you want to do to help, you are probably in range that you could even see some of the Shaobats trying to approach the
Okay,
ship
well,
here.
I'm not sure if athletics is going to help at this point because there's nothing to lift and/or impress people with.
You can take your own roll
so-
too if you have like an own action you want to do for 4s. I can just do the inspo. I'm due for a bit of good luck. I just got to beat a 14, so it's an 8 or better. It's an 8.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
if you guys-
I'll help you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try and help. Just use the help action. I can use survival and attempt to kind of use that as well as seeing those folks coming on getting a better path on the way out, or maybe keep you from hitting any trees that I've already flew by past.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll say that you could probably maybe even distract the Shaobat somehow with survival. Maybe set up some type of trap as you kind of see it coming at you.
yeah, let's do that. So I will do that. Let's see. Come on, go work.
Oh,
Boy, we're on
The
fire
rolls
today.
are not
all right.
day very good. And granted, that was a help or whatever that was. So do you guys want me to re-roll that, or you want me to? We only have 2 left, I think.
I think it's good to let that one lay where it lies.
Yeah, let's see what
Okay,
Tigran
okay.
gets.
8 or better. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. All right. So you're able to guide away as they kind of see them popping out of the forest. Some quick reflexes combined with you and the technology. So that's 4 successes now.
Mhm.
All right, and so this is going to be the
Yes.
end of round 2.
I think
Wait,
Gus still has to go.
you still got to
You
move?
go
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I do. That's right. I haven't
All
done
right.
a thing.
Oh no, you did the
All right.
technology thing to help it go faster, didn't you?
I
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
about that.
Never mind, I forgot about that. That was my bad. That was my
Yeah.
bad.
I was excited. I was like, wait.
All right. So that's the end of round 2. And so now it's just going to be a con save. And so for this, I'm going to actually let the group choose. So it moves forward. You're almost there. You can see the end of the forest and the river approach, but the speeder is barely hanging in there. So I'm going to let the group choose. This is going to be a con save to see if the speeder holds up, and we're going to say the speeder has a con of 2. So you'll have to roll. It's going to be a 12 or better. But you can do a group check and everyone roll and take the average, or one person can roll and then that's that.
I say we take the average.
The average.
You would hope the average is better, but we do have a habit of rolling 1s. So
No, that right there just gets the ones out of the way.
So I guess we do have 2 re-rolls left, right? So if our
Yep.
average kind of blows, we can attempt to use that.
For individual
At least on one
ones,
of them?
yeah.
individuals.
Yep.
All
If
right.
it's
So everyone
one,
give
we
me.
get like a straight roll. If it fails, we can re-roll. If with the efforts, though, we have a better chance of roll. But if too many people get below, using those inspirations aren't going to help too much.
So then should we just go with the single roll with the inspiration?
Now, I say average. I think average would be more fun.
Same.
Okay, we'll do average then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll need what? 4 people rolling. So
I'll throw mine out there first.
14 times 4. That's bad math. I need a calculator for that. Hold on.
All right.
All right. So combined 56
56.
is the goal. Yeah.
Tactical
Who
Tribes.
wants?
Oof.
Oh,
-3.
Off to a strong start.
All right.
dang.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. Oof. -3 +1. How are we actually overall?
So yeah, -3 +7, so +4.
Hey, I think that's 56 on the dot.
We did it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
Let me add it up here. 11
Burger, I think, carried the way if we did it.
plus 21 plus 11
No. Yes.
plus 15. Oh, you're good. 58. Nice.
Nice.
All right. So you guys, so barely you can feel the engine just giving out in this thing, but you clear the forest, break into the straightaway. The land bridge is still available, so you just fly right over it. You are now to safety. So that's a little skill challenge. I think that's just an easier. It's kind of a fun way to tell a story. So you guys do escape. You only need to bring 3 inspo because you only had 2 nat ones. But you guys make it. We'll say the speeder at this point is in very rough shape, though. Probably not going to make it all the way back. But you do notice that they do not pursue over the river. Once you clear the river, you notice that they do not come out of the forest at you. So you are safe. So the group, if you want, you can kind of head the rest of the way on foot. Or you can try to fix up the speeder and see if you can get it to kind of limp back to the base.
Does anybody have mechanics besides that could assist Reclaimer or Revelation? I'm not sure which one has that skill, but I'm assuming one of you do. Does anybody have the mechanics skill out of curiosity?
Oh no.
Okay.
Reclaimer shall attempt to fix the speed.
All right. Yeah.
You also have your die 4.
I can't apply that to
Okay,
myself,
so-
unfortunately.
I can apply. Oh wait, no. I think Arcadians are selfish. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. Never mind. Just for them.
Let me check something.
We might
Nope,
have to burn a
that-
re-roll.
I'd use inspiration to this session and we're burning all burning all of the
Yes.
first 20 minutes.
Do we want to burn one for this, or do we just leave the smoking remains?
I feel like we need a speeder, and like that engineer, I'm blanking on his name right now, but the engineer will kill us.
Yeah.
If we come back without a speeder.
This is true.
So I'm down for an info burn.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys can-
Reroll.
If you guys wait out the day, you can attempt, I'd say it takes several hours. If you want, you can spend kind of a day there and hang out and wait for Reclaimer
Oh,
to
you're
try
like
to fix
4
it.
days ahead, so
Yeah.
or 3
Right,
or 4
but
days.
here's so the problem we got though is we could be attacked by the worms at night. If you guys are cool with that,
Yeah, I think it's worth
We're
like,
good.
rather than leaving the speeder, like having it be beat up and go down one
Exactly.
of those
Okay.
the grades.
Reclaimer currently doesn't have any organic organs inside of him, so he's good.
very thoughtful.
Currently.
Very thoughtful.
Yes, but things will change.
So,
Unrelated, he does want to see how Tavik still thinks about the idea of replacing his other arm.
Tavik is still actually he'll go. Yeah, I am not replacing my other arm. Gus is supposedly a pinnacle of doctorly surgeons, and the arm nearly fell off as I lifted that tree trunk. If I had my old arm, I could have lifted that tree trunk and threw it over my head into the clearing, but the butcher over there threw this abomination on me.
Do not worry, my work is exceptional. The new arm would be even stronger than your current one, and won't fall off when a hair flicks it, and he'll even flick the arm. The
It just
mechanical
falls
one.
off. It just falls off.
I was using hyperbole. Oh no.
So Forrest is like, okay, we can use my emergency shelter. We can camp out near the speeder. I think it fits like 6 or 7 people, so we all should fit, unless the robots want to hang out on the speeder. Teach his own. But we'll put that out there, and we should probably make shifts.
That's fine. I don't sleep much anyway. So, sure. Yes, of course. I can take the first watch or the next watch, any watch.
Excellent. So Doc, you're on first. I guess I'll take second.
I can take second too. It's fine.
He does not sleep much.
I don't know. It's fine.
So then you can help out on their shift then. Tavik, you're third. And then
Revelation can take a shift. He is
you'll
quite
take the
good
last
at
one.
watching people while people sleep.
the Doc, you're gonna help out on Revelation Reclamation's shift, because after that story he told back in the about him like killing people. Yeah, no. You need to help watching on that.
Why do you think I
If
don't
you're
sleep?
good. Okay.
Speaking of which, Revelation, you're not taking that skin back to camp. Please leave it. No lip, please leave it.
Then I don't know if does it Tavik that has survival? Because I know I do.
Tavik has survived.
Because maybe we can make some like
and also shout out to
noisy
Grand
traps.
Rapids for the sub too.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are camping out for the night?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yep.
whoever's
And-
got first
if we-
watch, give me a D20. This
That's
should
Doc.
go fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go through your watch and nothing happens. Nothing but the beautiful scenery around you, the chirpit of some cricket-like creatures. I don't know if crickets exist in Star Wars. But yeah, so nothing happens. So your shift is over, and then who's taking second shift?
I am.
That's Force. I guess if you're just gonna stay up, but
I mean,
Well, it's 4 hours.
Orcus literally needs to sleep 3 hours a night.
okay, good. Well, hey, whatever, dudes. Well, I already put my down for second. If you want to hang out, that's cool too. Forrest won't complain. So should we both make a perception check?
Just a straight D20, and just one of you needs to make it.
Okay, I'll let Doc do it since he's still up, and I got to do my warm-up exercises. So,
Look at that.
All right. Yep.
Half.
Yeah. So the next shift goes by. A couple hours pass. Nothing happens. All right. Who's taking
I
third
am
shift?
I think Tavik has.
yep,
Uh,
Tavik.
so yeah.
Oh
For
no.
Revelation. Let me check if he has perception and thus can give the help action.
Oh, this is just a D20, right?
I don't
Yep,
think
just
he's
D20.
on
Oh.
I
Yep.
think this D20 is just our luck for the evening.
I think it
Yeah,
has
you're
that,
good.
though. Oh, is it good? Oh, is it good?
Yeah, you're good.
Not a
Yeah.
one. Wahoo!
Yeah. If I say perception check after you roll, then you'll know. All right. Who's taking next shift?
Then it's the two robots. So,
Reclaimer's still working on the speeder. I keep going to say speedster. The speeder, and he looks over to Revelation, just like, "You take the shift. I must continue my work here," and he'll leave it just up to his companion.
All right.
All right, D20.
Again, nothing goes through. So that's everyone, right? You made it through the night.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you guys wake up in camp in your shelter. And yeah, you didn't hear anything all night long.
What a nice serene planet this is. Oh boy. Well, how goes the progress on the speeder?
Him like taking a hammer, like dragging it with his tiny arms, like almost like a sledgehammer. Quite good.
We'll be walking from now on, Gus.
May I reattempt the mechanics?
You can. So you're about a day's walk from the camp, the Direhurst, the camp. Or if you want to fix the speeder, you can. You can take a couple hours, maybe about half a day to fix the speeder, and you'll get another roll. It's if you want help on it, someone else more than welcome to help you on it.
Well,
Are you the only person with mechanics reclaiming for sure? Because Casper doesn't
Uh,
have it, right?
Nah, I don't think he does.
We're doing the bonus proficiency thing, right?
Yeah, because I know Forge used that for the like, surveyor's kit. You know,
Yep.
so
Tavik
Yeah.
hasn't used it. That's part of the rules. Yes, we do the story piece. So Tavik, he's picked up mechanics kit kind of over the HoloNet before they crash landed, trying to fix the arm that Gus installed upon him. He had no idea about mechanics or anything before that, but it keeps falling off. So he's trying to learn that. And as he sees Reclaimer go forward, he'll go, "Hold on, droid. I'll lend a talent to your efforts."
But your arm only has a 64% match rate to the components of the speeder. Oh, you mean with mechanics, I see.
That was way above Tavik's head. He looked like he blank stares at you and he goes, yeah.
it was a figurative lend to Talon, not a literal lend to Talon.
Yeah, I got that.
Mechanics kit. Advantage. 25.
Hey, there you go.
Huzzah.
So
Swing
Finally-
the sledgehammer as hard as you can on the engine. It will start it back up. I don't have the right arms for this yet.
So how does that look? How do you guys get the how do you get it fired up? Is it
It's very ominous yet.
I imagine it's literally just, you know, the engineer from CF2, just hitting it until it starts working. Somehow it just works for Reclaimer that way. Like occasionally you'll go in and like actually do some repairs, but eventually after hitting it enough, it just like starts back up.
all right? All right.
I
so
am
the
a genius.
speeder's back up. All right. So you guys are headed back to the Genesis then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, because
You're-
that one
you're-
lab we found in the map.
Forrest, you're
way
muted.
far away, right? Oh, Sports
Mhm.
talking.
sorry, I was gonna say I quickly as he kind of gets it started and he's hitting it, I quickly grab Doc, pick him up, put him in the driver's seat, boom, and I'm like,
Wait,
"You're
no,
driving."
What have you done? But I fixed it. I repaired it. I get to drive, yes.
He called dibs. Let's go.
Oh.
All right. Are you waiting for Reclaimer to get on before you leave? That's the
Oh
key.
yes, I just wanted to make sure I put Doc in the driver's seat.
That'd be terribly mean spirited. Thanks for the repair. Now roll.
Walk, droid.
All right.
Okay.
So if there's anything else you guys wanted to do, you can. Otherwise, we'll say you make it back to the Genesis. Okay. The speeder's definitely in rough shape, but the way is clear. There's a path that you can take the rest of the way. So no need for piloting check or anything. You'll finish the rest of the travel there.
Well, no need for a piloting check now.
We would have had he driven.
I proceed to floor it.
Hold on, I
Everyone's
want to
like,
see how fast he
"No."
would have gone if he was driving. Fast, very fast.
Did we go down to reliability with our speeder?
I'm not going to make you roll for it this time, but you're at reliability 5 now, just on the speeder.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So we rolled
That's
5
good, right?
D10, right?
Yeah. It'd be 5d10.
And then you get a 1, you're screwed. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I will never roll a reliability check for this group.
Uh,
I'm just curious. Nice.
Yeah.
But there wasn't one. There was 2 ones in there, so
Two
that's
ones in
that's
there.
kind of
No, no, it's terrible. It's terrible. No thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Thank goodness for the easy road ahead.
Yep. But all right. So when you guys make it back to the Genesis, so you're out for, I think, how long? 4 days? 4 days total?
I
You
think
guys
3.
Yeah, three.
Then-
Three.
Yeah, and you guys stayed overnight though.
Mhm.
So when you guys get back, then, let me jump ahead here. So you guys will notice that the captain is not back, which is not unexpected because you expected him to take 10 days. The issue, though, is they do come up to you and you see the security officer Alavo made it back faster than expected. And he'll tell you that the captain did not check in today. And they have not heard from him, but the comms have been unreliable. And so, you know that he was traveling south with several other people. He had a security troop with him, and they were scouting for a potential way out of this. If they needed to leave, could they find a way out? At the same time, Security Officer Alavo was traveling east to see if he could find a way out. He would tell you that the problem going east is that there's a lot of flooding. And as this cycle continues, that land bridge is going to become potentially flooded, and he doesn't want everyone to become stranded. You'll know that it's kind of like marshy, like you can kind of walk on top of it, but you can tell you're kind of walking on water in parts of it. And then other parts of it is kind of swampy wetland, but when it floods up, it becomes inaccessible. So he says traveling that way would be extremely dangerous, and it would be hard to time that out to be successful. And so he would tell you that until the captain gets back, they are going to fortify inside the Genesis, and that is they will wait out the Kleps inside the Genesis.
Okay, well, Forge is like, we should probably attempt to save the captain. Just saying, because he is the captain of the ship. A lot of people look up to him, and if he's gone, that's going to cause some panic. That's just my thought.
He is the head of our pack. We should try to find him, even if he has suffered a humiliating defeat.
Shouldn't we
Go ahead.
try? Orcus is going to kind of gesture to the data chips. Is that what they would be called? Data cards?
Yeah, I think they're like tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should see what the previous Republic visitors had to say about this planet before we do anything further. Who knows what they might have learned in their time here, what insight they could offer to our situation. Because, frankly, this planet is puzzling. Lots of strange worms, lots of strange residents, dark skies, eclipses, and whatever knowledge that the past can offer us would likely be very beneficial.
Yeah, so a lot of you would just say, take it to Zazie. Zazie will get it figured out for you.
I shall see Zazie.
Don't mention the speeder.
And if you do, make it clear I kept it running the entire time with no problems whatsoever.
I shall let Zazie know that he has you to thank for the speeder.
No, that is not what I meant.
That's what I heard.
Do you want me to go better explain it?
Before he sees the speeder, I would like to go over the data with him. I don't want him to see the fruits of his labor spoiled before we need his help. So
yeah. Zazie would have already known about the speeder. Everyone knows about the speeder because of the way it came in, popping and roaring, and so he just sees you come in. He just sighs. He goes, "What now?"
Zazie, my dear little friend, I come to you with data from the past that I would like to learn more about with your help.
He actually perks up to that, and so yeah, he'll come and he's kind of up on top of a table working on something. So he'll come on over and stick his hand out, waiting for the first data chip.
Okay, and I will gladly present it.
Yeah, and he'll take a look at it. It's Republican era. You know, it's definitely technology that's familiar with everyone, and he'll have a way to kind of plug it in. So he'll jump off, he'll run over to his terminal, and plug it in, and then you'll be able to go through this with him. But you notice as you plug it in, there is a treasure trove, and there's no encryption on of any kind. But so the first thing you see is it talks about the worms, and it actually outlines 5 different types of worms. They call them the scouts, the brutes, the plague bearers, the ancients, and then there's something called the queen. And also it has a file in there. It outlines 2 sites that are on the planet. One is labeled HQ and one is labeled Research Lab. And then it actually has a file on there that's called Shaobat Tribes. And so which one do you kind of want to look at first?
Oh,
What in the love of Nurgle did I hear? The plague bearers?
That's gonna be fun. I feel like our crew has bad constitution too, outside of Forrest. So it's gonna be a fun one with that one. This is Gus's one, but I say we go for the worms first.
well, fine. I guess we can go in the order we heard them in. Sure.
Right. Yeah, so as you kind of open the file on the worms, the first 3 actually has very detailed information. You can clearly see it's got an image with even dimensions and pictures. They have studied these ones extensively. So the one they call the Scout, you have seen, it's the smaller worm. And under there it has some notes and talks about their biology. But it says that these are used to identify threats or targets, and they seem unaffected by the sun. There's a note in there that says unaffected by the sun, without much context of that. But you can kind of just see the basic biology. Much of this you would already know because you've fought these before, and I think you even did a little autopsy on one. But they burrow under the ground. They generally stay kind of close to the surface. They're relatively small, and they spit. They have like an acid that they spit. And then the other thing you'll notice that you might not have picked up on already is that they also are resistant to acidity. So their skin is actually relatively resistant to acid. Okay.
Fascinating.
The second one is called the brutes. Once again, you have recognized this one. They're the larger of the version, and they kind of label them as the bulk of the power. They're used to eliminate threats on the planet, and they seem unaffected by the sun. And then again, it kind of goes into the biology a little bit, and again that they are resistant to acid. And that they also have the ability to produce like acid in their glands, but they don't have the ability to spit it like the smaller ones do. The third one, the plague bearers, you would not have recognized this. They're kind of a smaller worm, smaller than the brute, but bigger than the scout. I would say maybe about 5 or 6 foot long. And you can tell that they have done extensive research on these ones. They have coded their genealogy. They've actually comparatively to other species and races along that you've known in the galaxy, everywhere from humans to any known species they've tried to compare the genealogy against. They're clearly trying to find as much about this creature as they could. You'll also find a note in there that they are force sensitive, that they do actually have the ability to manipulate the force in a very mild sense. They're not necessarily, they wouldn't label them as like sentient, like humanoids, but they do have the ability to use the Force, and that they carry with them a plague, which is why they call them the plague bearer. And this plague is somehow empowered by their own Force abilities to attack the mind. But the one thing you will notice in there is it is very, very detailed research. You can tell an entire team has spent an extensive amount of time, but there are large segments that are just missing from this file, and you can tell it's intentional. And specifically, they have done some comparative of the genes and the impacts of maybe what the plague would have on some species, and it's removed. So you'll find a lot of the species you'd recognize, but you clearly see there's some files in there of how this would impact certain species, and those have been specifically removed.
Like, what's an example of, I guess, one of the more common species, like human? What sort of effect would it have there?
Yeah, so you'd know that, like, against a human, it can have basically two effects. It can have like a charming effect on them, to entice them, and I wouldn't say like mind control them per se, but you can definitely cause them to be persuaded or to drop their willpower and essentially just kind of give up. Or it can drive them insane. And you'll notice that the plague bearers don't necessarily have a lot of ability to control that. And it's more the proximity to the next thing that they have. Basically, they speculate it's a proximity to the queen that determines the effect that would have.
So, Gus, did you think you were by yourself as you're reading this, or did the group come with you to read over your shoulder?
Well, this is something that Gus would be very excited about because, yay, research, yay, things, words. So he would have started off very excitedly. I don't know if anybody else has anything else going on, but like, I mean, by all means, come along, please, please. It's not like Gus would hoard this information.
I don't have anything to do, and I did swear a life debt, so I'll follow along.
It's like, well,
And
I guess.
Forrest would follow because he'd also want to try and find out like the last triangulation of communication that the engineer might know where they maybe have communicated with the captain last, so we have a better idea of where to look. So
Yeah, so you would notice that Alavi is not concerned about the captain. You know the captain is very capable. He had a lot of he had a good amount of security with him, and he's only been out of comms now for roughly a few hours.
Sounds like somebody might be overreacting a wee bit. Get a little nervous for nothing.
The military structure, commander in chief need to, need that.
Oh, no, not you. I mean, I was just.
I mean,
somebody. No.
All right.
But yeah, no. I wouldn't try to keep anybody from this information if they wanted to come along and peruse the secrets of the past. And hell yeah, by all means.
Topic zones out until he sees a spot about going mad and a beast that causes it, and he goes, Gus, we should hunt this creature to protect the crew that is here, to protect them, as I said. But it would be an amazing hunt.
I don't necessarily believe that your motivations are so altruistic, but the end result is the same, right?
Yeah, and we're not humans. We won't go crazy.
Well,
Caspar might, but yeah.
Well, that's Caspar's problem, isn't it? I mean, what could they possibly do to the intellect of an Arcanian? What could they possibly do to an Arcanian, I wonder?
You see Tavik kind of like his snout is shut closed. And he just kind of nods, like.
But like seriously, what can they do to an Arcanian? I imagine it's similar to humans.
Is that the data that got erased?
You would know that Arcanian is in there. Now, how they know this specific to an Arcanian, that might be dark. But you will know that it has the same effect, right? Like if you are in close proximity, they suspect if you're in close proximity to the queen, that you just kind of go along. You drop resistance. But if you are not in proximity to the queen, it drives your mind mad.
Well, like, I wish they would have done this alphabetically, but
So it forces like anything on best list in there. Just checking. I mean, does it make us stronger? That'd be cool. Just saying, But can you check just to make sure?
is it essentially just? Is it the same way through all the way?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
Are there any aberrations to that?
Yeah, you'd notice that it's pretty much any species that's pretty common in the galaxy is going to be basically that.
What about droids?
That's a good question. They never tested it on droids, so there is no data.
They're immune. You go first.
No, if we can't let the inorganic have all the fun, we have to back some of these plague beasts and eventually grab a queen.
I don't know if there's more than one queen to grab, but
yeah.
Is there any indication in there that there were multiple queens, or is it?
So yeah, let me go over the last two, and so I'll just note this because I would say Gus is a smart individual. There was no note in there about the impact on the sun towards the plague bearer. So then the next one is going to be something called the Ancient. And it just has a line in there. It starts with extremely dangerous. And then it says, under there, it says highly sensitive to sunlight and diverse characteristics. And so they don't have like a picture of this one. Like the other ones, like it was very clearly like they had, like they had studied them extensively. There was no data on this other than maybe some rough images or sketchings, and it just looks like a large worm. It would be substantially larger than the brute, and the images in there are all different. Some it looks like they may even fly. Some it looks like that they just burrow. Some even have legs, and so they're extremely diverse in like some of the images they have. But you just know that they're extremely large, and it just says extremely dangerous. That's like all in bold caps. Like,
Perhaps the Republic had a different word for miscellaneous than we do. But it seems like they can't make up their minds about what these things are.
Yeah.
Well, these are clearly the best ones. Some of them fly, some of them are huge. If you bag one of each, you get a prize, I bet.
Tavik, I do believe you're drooling a little bit.
You do see kind of a line of saliva dripping through his face, off of his scaly skin, and his tail is just like thumping on the ground right now. You see, I was not drooling.
No, it's tired. You're tired. Well,
I'm sure your arm caused this.
Yeah, and so the last one for the queen, just to keep the drooling going here, you'll actually, so that there's no data, there's no pictures, there's just a note in there that there was a theory from one of the scientists that a queen must exist. They theorized that this is essentially a hive, and a hive must have a queen. But they do have logs of attempts to go and find the queen. And all of them were aborted. And the reason for having the mission aborted, it just said unacceptable personnel loss. And then that's it.
Well, they should have allocated more personnel.
They sound like cowards, to be honest.
Yes. Relenting in the pursuit of knowledge? Unacceptable. Don't worry.
Knowledge, yes.
You'll bag your prize, and I'll bag my knowledge. Everybody wins. Yes.
We sometimes get along.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'll have a new piece for my museum. Just Reclaimer, like passing along, just go. No, doesn't even go through the door. Like it's just like through the hallway, past the door.
What do ancient flying worm queens have to do with the Republic of Past?
More than you realize. As he's getting further away.
Yes, I wanted to. Oh, God damn.
We both agreed to go to his museum. We should wait till we bag the queen and then go to his museum.
Well, I mean, we could always, it could be a lot of fun,
It could.
right? It could. Probably. So, was that all the data cards or just one?
So we'll just we'll just say that there was 3, and you would already know what on the other 2 are already. So on the second data card, it has a map, and on the map, so I just flipped you over there. The research lab is down here in the south, and it would give you an exact location, and then it would have a headquarters, and it's up here in kind of these mountains. And then it has a little bit of notes under the research lab. The headquarters doesn't have much at all, other than just kind of the location. But the research lab, it would have some like strange notes on there, specifically talking about trying to establish a land route between the lab that they were at and the research lab, which would kind of require you to start here, go through this forest south of you, and then come down. And it just noted that they were unable to ever create a safe land path due to the local inhabitants in the forest. And they would just say that any attempts to go through the forest were never successful, and that due to safety concerns, they never established a land route. So you kind of notice that you would assume a land route from where you're at. You're saying that road, the kind of underground road. You kind of assume that it never went that far south, just because they were never able to kind of secure that area. They didn't exactly say what it was that was causing the problem, other than it would just say I'm sorry, I said local inhabitants. I didn't mean that. I said local creatures. The local creatures in the forest always caused incidents. And then you just find a note under there for that lab, and it would just say advanced weapon research. So you kind of assume that that's what that lab was for, is creating advanced weapons and doing research down there.
So we're going south, right? I mean, yeah.
Possible.
I mean, I like the advanced research part, and I'm sure most of you appreciate the weapons part. So, and also the captain. The captain went south. Good God, we have to help the captain.
Oh, yes, yeah, we should save him and the weapons. I mean, yeah, and him.
Kill the queen, but yeah, save the captain.
Yes.
Kill the queen, save the captain, get the weapons, take the research. Everybody wins. Bye, golly.
Yes,
All right.
saving the captain. If we
And
save him, we save him. But if we do not, then I will have a fine addition to my collection. He'll make a great piece for my museum. The captain, first to land on this planet.
In 200 years, somebody was here.
I don't know how the morality of sentient taxidermy really would go well.
Oh no, I mean if he is dead, nobody will need his corpse. Yes, yeah.
Reclaimer, you want
I get you, Dad.
Bing to come to your museum, right?
Can you repeat that?
You want the Bings to come to your museum.
Yes, I want people to go to my museum, please.
The captain is pretty well liked. If you kill or if he is dead and you stuff him and then put him in the museum,
then people will come to see their once beloved captain. Would they not?
Sure.
I mean, perhaps a bust, a statue, something. I mean, not the actual captain or his remains. Why do I even bother? It's like,
So
Save your words, Gus.
My God. How do you explain morality to a calculator?
No, I understand
In basic.
morality. I just don't have it.
Um,
I'm a museum owner. What did you expect? Half my items are stolen. The other half, people had to die to get them.
But you don't need to put them. Never mind. We'll cross that bridge.
So what's the data say about the tribes?
Oh, I got one more note that I forgot. So there is a note about actually some logs of maybe some attempts to rescue individuals that were taken in the forest. You would know that they are preserved for a few days, so there is an opportunity for rescue. But they had deemed those not worth it, as the result always had more casualties than any they were able to save. But again, they didn't talk about what the threat was. Unfortunately, they didn't. They just said that they just stopped going into the forest. All right, and so the Shaobat Tribes. So they'll detail that there was 2 tribes. They call one the Twilight Oracles, and they call the other the Clay Spirits. And the Twilight Oracles, you have just met, and they'll say that they think that they have been somehow infected by the Queen. And that they are almost subservient. They see the worms as gods, I guess. And they never leave that area. The other one, the Clay Spirit, they actually are located about where the Genesis is. So they're located up on the plains. And they are generally friendly, and they just always avoid us. They would avoid the researchers. And they would know that when they would observe when the eclipse happens, they all migrate east. So they all pack up and they go. And after the twilight, they return. So that is kind of part of their natural cycle. Other than that, you would just know that they're very primitive. They do speak Basic, that they had taught the tribes how to speak Basic. And they interacted them in some minor fashion. The Twilight Oracles was a little dangerous. They'll note some encounters in there that got a little dicey. But yeah, so they'll just outline the yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
All right.
All right. Ooh, boy.
And that was the 3 data discs.
That's a lot of data. However, Orgus will be very displeased at the lazy note-taking when it came to the threat to the south of us, whatever it may be. You would think. Well, so
I have a recommendation.
What are you thinking, Droid?
Something that could aid us. However, I'll warn you, in the before times, this would be considered quite the war crime.
Average 64s.
I don't think it would have stopped being a war crime.
Biological warfare.
We have no idea.
We infect the Shaobats with a disease. They take it back to their worm overlords, and that weakens them.
That is poor form for a hunt.
And not to mention, I don't think I have any diseases with me. You have diseases with you, don't you? Part of you needs to know. Oh, look, the virus that killed so many in a jar.
Yes. You can see it at my museum.
I'm not even surprised. I don't even know. What do you have on the captain that he lets you carry this biological agent and keep it in the confines of a ship?
Simply put, I am a droid that survived to the end times that knows a bunch of droids that survived to the end times. Additionally, my wife has a lot of influence. Kind of.
Leans over to Gus and says, "The captain's never been to his museum either."
Forrest has to reiterate, we're saving the captain. He's not going to the museum. We're saving the captain.
No. We will save him if he is still alive, but if he is dead, I call dibs on the body.
Okay. So
Revelation is great at fixing up the dead to look almost as pristine and better than they were alive.
I do believe the better would be more of a personal choice. Why am I?
so
I don't know
so
why
Forrest
I'm
is like, let's put a pin in that, and he puts 4 in the air because he's like really high that you can't reach. So we can't. And let's figure out our next move. So are we going to attempt to go to the south and investigate that potential research lab with weapons, and then maybe along the way, hopefully help out the captain?
Well, I do
Or-
believe that the group that went east is likely going to be just fine, considering that's where the friendlier Shaobats go and when things get tough. So it's safe to say that it'll be safer. However, the south sounds perilous.
So of course we're going to the south.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course, we're going to the south.
We must go to the south in order to procure more for the ship.
I saw the eyes. I saw your eyes.
Do you mean a very specific part of the show? Why do I engage?
Yes.
Why do I? Okay, we're going south. Yes, to save
Okay.
the captain or retrieve him if he's dead for the most macabre museum this side of the galaxy. Goodness.
That I could make a headline. Thank you, Doctor. I'll give you royalties for this if I make any money. I don't.
You won't.
Just out of curiosity, none of us were suffering from exhaustion or anything, or do we still need to rest the night?
You would have gotten a
Here.
long rest, so you would have been able to take a long rest. But we're going to take a little bit of break because I got to refill my drink, and we've been going on about this hour, and then we'll kind of plan your next action, and then we'll maybe talk through some of the things you guys kind of know to make sure we're all tracking, and then we'll see what the refugees are going to do while you guys make your next move. So,
Oh boy.
all right.
Okay, sounds good.
Tegan, are you okay with just 5-minute break?
Oh, that works for me.
Stream there?
Sweet.
All right. Cool.
So we'll be back at 8:12, everybody. See you guys in a bit.
All right.
All right, welcome back, everybody, for second half of Stranded. Before I turn it over, two things I want to plug. The next one, I haven't decided on a date yet. It may be this Thursday, but I don't know yet. For sure, I got to talk with my Kazuya crew. If you guys are Matt Colville fans, if you supported his new Flea Mortals Kickstarter book for monsters, they've got a cool horde mode with like a leaderboard. You can like stream your game, and like if you get enough points, you get to be on the leaderboard. So I want to do that. I'm not sure if we can do that Thursday. The Kazuya crew didn't seem too hot on that, but sometime over the next 2 weeks, I'm doing that because I want to be on the leaderboard. So follow me on Twitter if you're not already. I will tweet when that gets close. That's something that's happening because I'm slightly obsessed with that right now. So it's going to happen. The other thing, Blades in the Dark. Wednesday, August 31st. Come through, hang out. We've got Keith. We've got Adkin. They'll be playing with us along with Todd Moonbach, my DGM partner too. Will be on that game. Maybe another person too. We haven't filled it all the way out, but that'll be fun. I've enjoyed the system so far, so come hang out with that. But that's all I've got to say. So I'll turn it back over to Keith.
All right. And I will also say that I am extremely excited about the Horde mode, so I'm going to have to be part of that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, and so so kind of next I wanted to take a minute here. I've given a lot of hints about a lot of stuff going on, but if the group wants to ask questions or kind of confirm, then we can kind of do that real quick, right? You guys, the characters are very smart. They've been in this role for a long time. So if there's any confirmation you want of anything you think you know, we can go ahead and do that.
All right.
Well, I'm safe to say that some of the worms don't do too well with sunlight. Some of them seem to be okay with it. Now, can we make a sunlight gun? I mean, that's where my head went.
That's what I was gonna. I didn't think gun,
like,
but I was gonna make a sunlight
flashlight.
beam that we could shoot out.
Like,
I was gonna have a Claver do it.
I watched the Swarm when it was on TV, man. Like, just UV, boom, get wrecked. So, just a thought.
Yeah.
That could be one of the advanced weapons at the lab.
Oh man, it'd be
Maybe.
weird if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yes, an industrial grade flashlight.
Hell, hey,
That reminds me
better than a
of
light,
the-
better than a
the-
lightsaber. Gosh. So Shaobats are kind of. We got one off to the west, some that are in the area that we're in. Not quite I mean, I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp on the world and where we are, and I've got a kind of dreading or excited for the eclipse. I don't know, mixture of feelings.
So they mentioned, I think, in one of the data things about the Shaobat migrating to the east, and then when the eclipse is over, they're migrating back. So it assumes that they obviously survived that. So there's a safe place, whether that's underground or somewhere, or I mean, I don't know, and Doc, maybe you can answer this. Does this planet rotate? Because it kind of seems kind of weird that if they're migrating to the east and they're surviving, you would think the eclipse would hit the whole planet at some point, right?
I mean, the only difference I see in terrain on the map is that there's mountainous regions. So my head's going to, if it's thick enough and it's pure rock, maybe they can't make their way through, but that's kind of more of a guess than anything else.
It'd be too much of a headache for them too much work for them to kind of claw all the way up.
Yeah.
They may not know that's there.
That's where my head's at.
And the eclipse was like every 80 years. It was like it's rare, right?
It's a big gap of time.
Yeah.
50?
Yeah,
Okay.
big gap time. Yep.
All right.
Well, maybe this could be answered. How long were they recording data?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Like, because to see that from one point to another, they must have been here for an extended period of time.
Yeah, you would have known that they would have been there long enough to see an eclipse. So,
any indication what happened, like immediately before, during, or after the cataclysm of the space dragons? Because I'm gonna butcher that word.
Yeah, the Dwanigan. I don't think that's right, but I've just said it enough that I'm confident. So we're going. That's just it. Yeah. So you would know that the last log of the journal would have ended slightly before the cataclysm, like within a few weeks.
Oh, so everything falls apart, and we really didn't see much in the way of like what happened to them after. Like there was no indication at the base, just that time ravaged it.
Yep.
Goodness.
Reclaimer would bring up a detail that seems very important to this. That being, some of these worms are force sensitive.
Yeah, I was going to go there next. Force sensitive, and I remember we saw that mural with flying things. Initially, I thought those were the Dwanigan, but there's flying ancient worms too. So it could be either or both, or both. Yeah.
Well, I mean, did the Dwanic? Well, then it begs a question: is there any credence to the firmly held belief by many that the force wielders caused this? Did the worms bring the Dwanigan? Do you want again? Yeah. Okay. Then the worms.
Just go space
worms.
worms. You're good.
Space worms. Yeah, the space worms. Did they bring them here? Were they already here? I don't know. There's just so much. But I want to go south. Man, south is the way to go.
That's a good question. Has Gus or Reclaimer, any of the science folks, ever gotten to examine Dwanigan DNA?
That's a good question.
I mean, Gus's position before making his way to the Genesis was a bit of it was mostly medical. It wasn't so much in the realm of research. So I don't think he would have been in that line of it, but thoughts.
Reclaimer was all about researching and bringing back of the old world. Whether or not he messed with stuff with the Dwanigan, I said that right. I'm not too sure, and I'll leave that up to you.
Anyone who wants, they can go ahead and give me an int save, but it's going to be a very hard check.
Domic's stupid. He's not going to try. That's good. The first one even.
Those are really good checks. Yeah, so I'm going to say that you would have actually studied the Dwanigan. And there's a few things that you would know about the species. So you would know that they have interacted with the Republic many times. A long time ago, there was actually a war with the Republic, but it ended peacefully, and they negotiated peace. They are sentient. They've been known in the galaxy as sentient creatures. Many consider them wise. They live for a long time. They can live upwards, 1,000+ years. And so, but you would also know that the species is very delicate in that sometimes the offspring are not sentient. They're born as I wouldn't call them monsters, but they are not born with higher level intelligence, right? They're born as just an animal, and that they just kill them off. The parents, if that happens, the parents just kill off their offspring if it's born that way. So that's just kind of an obscure knowledge because you rolled extremely high. So, but the other thing you would know, and I'm going to give this to you, the genealogy between the worms, and because you now know it, and the genealogy between the Dwanigan are very similar.
Nice. So these are stupid kids.
Oh, what the big worm looked like a dragon with the thing. So
with little legs. It was a worm, WURM, right?
The Alaskan bull worm.
Or what if could be, and it's just a force thinking outside of his weightlifting box, but he's thinking like, what if this is the worms like I guess experiment of, hey, let's leave some of our children here and see what happens, the ones that are animals, or maybe there's a sect of the worms that believe in natural order of things. So if they end up having kids that have an animal intelligence, they just put them here.
This was a weapons research station by the Republic, clearly using some of their tacts with these worms. Whether or not they placed them here, the Republic or the Duutagon, it's hard to tell.
Duwanaguin. Ha!
Hey!
Got
But
Hey!
one thing is for certain. There is a possibility that this may have been the catalyst for you know what happened. And if you do not, you can go visit my museum. We have a great exhibit on it.
Goodness. You know, you're really just talking to us, right? You don't have to plug the museum. We're aware of the. Okay.
Then why
Let's
haven't
both
you gone
pledge to
yet?
go to your museum. We promised. I've pledged
I
a
don't
life
see
debt
you
to
there
Gus,
now,
and
do
I've kept
I?
him alive so far. I will eventually go to your museum.
Okay. It's an incentive to let us not die because we will eventually go to your museum as long as you keep us alive, right? Something.
Oh,
maybe?
if you die, you're going to the museum, all right.
Oh, why did like a glass door, polished.
That
Just
counts.
walked right into it. Yes, yes, it
Yes.
does.
So when I die, you put me in the museum, and that's me going. Oath to
No,
Bill.
do not use it as a safety blanket. You can jump over the rails on. But yes, I will do that.
But do you think it's you? Well, okay. A little thought experiment based on the timeline of events with the journals, and then look, civilization. Poof.
Oh yeah.
But 2 weeks off, yeah, I could see this. Yes, this could possibly be a catalyst of it, yes.
Do you think that possibly this might have been, I don't know, a planet that was important to Duwanaguin? Maybe there was something here. Maybe they had their children here, and
Could
We're
have
going
been
on
a
a lot of-
holy world, an ancestral birthplace.
could have been, yeah. Maybe they're distant cousins or something. That who knows? I don't. We should learn more.
The Republic kicking the dragon's nest and getting screwed seems to fit their motive.
Oh,
Yes.
that's silly Republic. Oh, dooming themselves.
Now the reclamation project being on this planet, doing the same. Quite interesting.
Reclamation is that?
That's what we're doing.
The reclamation project. The faction I work for, trying to revitalize the glory of the Republic. You can read about them in my museum.
Yes, yes. The wealth of knowledge stored in the bowels of the ship.
Yes.
Well, if we, I think we should journey south, catch up with the captain, see what he's up to. Maybe even point him further south and get to that research station. I mean, there's a reason they would know about it. It would be a wasted effort to go halfway and then for them to come back. Don't you? Right?
Have we heard any of the time that we've been back, like the current refugees from the town, have there been any messages back and forth about what their plans were, and or if they've run into any issues while we've been gone? Because we were gone for like 5 days or 4 days, right? So
Yeah, so you would know that the comms have been getting continuously sketchier. So having the comms not work isn't unheard of. So you know Olovi is not concerned. You would have this, I would say you're probably doing all this research probably took several hours. And in that time, you haven't heard back from the captain at all. But Olovi is quickly trying to draw up plans. You know that basically his plan is after the harvest comes in, they need the harvest to survive, that they're going to get all the refugees back in the Genesis, fortify the Genesis, and hang out until after the eclipse. And once again, he is not concerned about the captain.
Well, I mean, it's not even. This is becoming less about concern and more about wanting to make our way to the research. I mean, Let's take a look at the map. How far are we from both locations?
Yeah, so
headquarters
you
on the-
guys, sorry, it's hard to see here, but if you zoom in a little bit, let me put a marker on it. This is where the Genesis is. And then it's down here. Here, I'll put your token there.
And then
And
to
then
the
Tavik will
east.
be the headquarters over here.
And we know the south, at least in that gray area that looks like desert, is pretty much where the logs were saying they were having problems rescuing people and or
Yeah,
being
it's right
able to
down in
map
this
out there.
forest. Yeah,
Yeah.
this forest is where they said they just wasn't able to establish a land connection between the two.
Now, the captain's destination going south, how far south are we talking?
So Forrest would actually know that he was probably about here when he left. So he followed the captain down over the river there and started into the forest. But you would not know exactly how far he would have gone. You know, he's been traveling for about 4 days.
Okay, so we're definitely 4 days behind, but they didn't have the knowledge that we have. So they're running into an area where, at this point, we would consider highly suspect and or dangerous.
And this is more or less the course that we took with the blue arrow here.
Yep, you guys went that way.
And then they went this way, so they would have crossed.
So where based on the logs, are the Twilight Oracles, the peaceful Shaobat?
So the Twilight are not the peaceful ones. They're over here, where you guys crossed. And then you would actually know that they're only here. They don't travel further south than that. That's where they're at. And then the other ones are up in this region, where you guys are at.
And the marshland to the east of us is beginning to disappear / be less accessible, right?
Yeah, you would know that it's really affected by the tides. So you could, it's a land bridge and it can be crossed. It becomes very sketchy because you can be, that was what Olovia was basically saying, like, you know, I'm sure we could travel across it, but getting everyone across it, we're going to probably lose a lot of people. And you can kind of see on the map kind of that swampy-ish, kind of gray. Yeah, and that's kind of what that represents.
I suppose we're a bit of an impasse. Do we go south or do we go east?
Well, I'm thinking we're probably going to at least attempt to save the captain. I'm not sure we're going to make it to the research lab if it's as dangerous as they say it is, but we should probably at least assist the captain.
And as far away as it is.
Yep. I'm thinking our best bet long term would be is to make peace with the friendly Shaobats and try and find their migration area to where it was safe, and then maybe some kind of bridge, some kind of union with the refugees so that they could take advantage of that same safe harbor.
I think that may be wise. But also reaching the research station, the Republic being here through a full cycle, I'm sure they know where that ground is too. So if we head south to the captain, I feel stopping at the research station may yield some data that we could use to help our people.
I would much rather trust the research of the Republic than the current locals due to language barriers and, well, disinformation we have read here is 1,000 years old. It has been 1,000 years, right? Or not 1,000, 200?
Yeah, a couple hundred years.
Couple hundred years. He said, Reclaimer says the exact amount of time that has passed. I do not believe that they are free of these worms' influence. But at the very least, I don't want to risk the lives of the entire ship that they haven't been corrupted in some manner.
Well, if they were being influenced by the worms, then why would they go to the east? With, I mean, if
We
you know,
don't
if there's
we don't know if they're going to the east currently. We simply know
true.
that they will eventually do these
that they
notes.
have, yes.
Mhm.
So if they go to the east to flee the worms, then it's safe to say they have the fear from the worms. Okay. Well, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Keep an
First,
eye on them for scouts. If they start heading east, we know they are free of the influence. If not, then we know that they are an enemy. For now, I say we move south. Assist the
Hey.
captain. Get to the resorts.
Okay.
Yep.
I
Save
agree.
Captain first. Short-term goals. So
Mhm. So you would know by looking at this map, just kind of so you're aware, traveling about 1 square is roughly 5 days. So just kind of awareness of how long it would take to get somewhere. You can also travel 1 square in 10 hours, so a day on a speeder.
So then, first of all, do we think the speeder that we currently have is in any shape of being used? It is.
Reclaimer believes so. He wants to drive it. And he
Roll
knows
some
he can.
d10s and we'll find out.
5 of them?
Well, because I was debating on whether we should ask Engineer Zazi if he has a different one that we can use, because he had spares before, but I'm wondering if the captain took one. You know,
Mhm.
so
So, Forrest,
maybe
you would have known the captain took one. He did not
got
think
it.
to make
Okay,
a land bridge, though. So his speeder would be down there by the river. You would know that because you went with him.
got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so then he'll be walking. He'll be walking after that. So however long it takes him. Okay.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe if the mechanics folks can maybe fix up the speeder, take a day and do that.
Well,
Maybe
might just
help with
reclaim the other
Zazi.
speeder that the captain left.
Well,
True.
perhaps we
Yeah.
can get a ride.
Well, it would be like down here. So the captain's speeder would be down here.
So, maybe
Yep.
what, 5 days away, or
Yeah, you could probably make that in 5 days. Yeah.
okay.
Or somebody takes a speeder and gives us a lift. Yeah, maybe.
I'm sure you can sweet talk Zazi into giving us a ride. That way he can keep his prize speeder and we get to go without wrecking it yet again.
No.
You might be worried about us wrecking the other one.
Well, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, so.
Well, I suppose there's no harm in asking. Does anybody want to ask?
Looking at all this like information, that was in like Zazi's whole area, right?
Yep. Yeah. So Zazi would have actually seen all this also.
All right. The claimant will turn to him. May you drive us to the other speeder, Zazi, engine Sia.
And so Zazi's extremely intelligent. He sees all the data just like you see the data. He would just kind of hang his head down and go, Lavi's given strict orders. No one is to take a speeder. You will have to get authorization from him. All speeders are used for bringing back the refugees, along with harvesting the crops and providing security.
You understand
you
what is
allow
at
us to-
stake here? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, that's all. That's all Reclaimer says. You understand what's at stake here.
Well, and Forrest be like, hey, I'm not going to break protocol. So if we got to hoof it, we hoof it. But I do as Zazi is like, hey, so what's your opinion with all this data? We're thinking to go south to help out the captain. What do you think?
He kind of thinks about it for a minute and just says, the captain is very capable. I suspect he will be fine, although he is a dear friend. And he kind of just hesitates. He doesn't know. It kind of his the intelligence side of him says that this is a bad play, but you can tell that there's a little bit of an emotional side to him that is concerned about the captain after hearing kind of the data and the dangers that are presented in the South, and that the captain wasn't aware of.
So So the captain may be caught unawares by whatever dangers lurk in the woods to the south of us. Our security needs to be made aware of this. They could be down a captain. They could lose him due to carelessness. And what kind of security would do that to their captain?
And on top of that, if we save the captain and bring your friend home, we can bring his speeder back and double your efforts. So not only will you have your captain, your friend back, you'll be twice as efficient with your calculations.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see he's thinking about it. Someone go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Whoever chooses to do so, you're getting a potent aptitude die.
I think Doc's got the better persuasion than anybody here.
Yeah, Tavic's negative.
Yes or no? I'm negative.
I don't think there's a lot of charisma in this party.
I think Caspar has all the charisma.
And
Oh,
Caspar's what, nursing a hangover or something? Poor guy.
Getting drunk off his new vineyard.
There you go.
Yeah.
The fruits of his labor.
Mhm.
He put the wrong worm in his tequila when he drank it.
Oh no.
Yes.
All right, here goes the mighty one persuasion.
You can add a d4 to that.
Nice. Okay. You can see.
D4. Well, let's see how good this gets.
All right.
Come on. That's a lot of D4s.
Well,
I think it's to 11 T4.
I have a heavy index finger, apparently.
It's like that's quite a skill.
I'm about to say, damn, you typed that all out with one finger?
Nice. All right. So you can tell like he's really kind of thinking about it, and you can tell he's genuinely concerned about the captain, and you do make a good point that you could bring the speeder back, and so he at this point he has not taken the keys from you, so you still have your speeder. He goes, if you were to take the speeder, what am I to say? That I was never informed that you had returned it, and Alavi never told you that you were not to take it. He says, unfortunately, I cannot aid in any more than that, though. He says, or just go talk to Alavi.
Enough said, good buddy. You never saw us.
It was a pleasure not seeing you, Zazie.
I will return this speeder in better condition than it was left.
Force is like high five, but he puts it like really low.
Yeah. You can see he's got his sense of humor back, and he just responds, not hard to return it in better shape than it is now.
That's fair.
Well, by then the fires will have gone out. I mean, so, well, I do believe we have a trip to make. Off to the south we go. I don't know.
All right. Are you guys just taking off?
Yeah.
Everybody gear up though.
Before we go, yeah.
I mean, okay, we got like buku credits at that last thing.
Yes, and there is a shop in town, right? In the refugee village, or do we have one here on Genesis?
There isn't really much that you could do on the Genesis, but you could pass either of Elmhurst, or you'd actually pass Direhurst, which is probably better supplied. You could actually pass that on the way, so you could easily make a stop if you wanted.
So yeah, let's get off at that rest stop to the great unknown south. And I think we should just talk up. Man, I don't know. It's 2K. I got 2K, right? That's what we got from the bounties of the Forgotten Republic.
Yeah.
Bricklayer has things he wants to buy.
All right.
You can't buy faces.
He wants to buy these. He wants to buy the supplies it would take to create a new arm for Tavok. He's gonna try to put his money where his mouth is. He isn't going for enhanced prosthesis, just basic prosthesis.
What does that cost? I honestly don't know. That's a standard item, right?
It's a standard enhanced item, or it's a standard enhanced. Yeah, so that'll be actually an enhanced item. Let me see. Actually,
there's actually a regular prosthesis, I believe, unless they took those out.
Oh, with Tavix, he's got the reach on it, which is why it's enhanced. So he's got 10-foot reach.
which is
You
his
know what?
trade-off for it falling off on ones, which seems to happen all too often.
He'll try for the reach one instead. He'll make the reach prosthesis another one.
I'm not
I
sure on the
mean-
rules on that one, so I'm not sure what it would cost there to if you want
Would
to
it-
help on that.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
even have
so
the
it
same
costs. You
drawback.
have to do like the. It'd take a week to do that because you have to do the crafting enhanced items because it's enhanced with it. So you have to do all that with that. So unfortunately, you could definitely make a regular one, but he would lose his reach for it.
No, he's not going to replace the cybernetic that's already there. He's going to. He
Oh.
wants to replace the flush arm.
So he's just
yeah.
biding his time until a tragic accident happens to
We do use this
another
windmill,
appendage.
Get ready.
And I
It
rolled
will.
terribly, so it's likely. It's like
He'll go for the regular one, not the enhanced item one, for the sake of time.
Forrest is going to buy that macro binoculars.
Okay. All right. So
If it's
we're
available.
saying you guys are down in Direhurst. You can come down here. It's like an hour trip, no problem at all. I'm not going to make you roll for that, but if you do travel further south, then you will have to roll for the speeder being beat up.
We need to roll very carefully and pilot slowly.
Oh, reanimate is going to be not reanimate. Oh my god, I slipped up. Reclaimer's going to be busy. So many renames.
Lots of reads. Yeah, all right. It's a recurring thing.
Rammer's next week.
Yeah. Reclaimer's going to be he's going to be busy making that arm. The cost of a standard, not standard, just a regular arm prosthesis is $450, and if I remember the crafting rules right, you give half the cost in materials and take time to make it, right?
Yep. So I think it's $250 per day, but you have half the cost of materials, so you can do that in a day.
Yeah. So if you guys
Yeah.
wanted to hang out, there is a crafting station available in the Genesis, so you could hang out there and do it. Or you could find a crafting station in Direhurst where you're buying all this stuff too. That would be fun.
Would it be possible for him to do it on the road or whenever we start to camp out somewhere?
I'm trying to think. Is there a rule that says you have to have a crafting station? I don't
think you just have the tools.
You just need to have the tools.
You just have to have the tools.
Yeah.
Okay.
He would look to the good doctor and ask to borrow those tools.
Well, I made them on the Genesis. I actually don't have them with me, but it would be a biotech's implements. Is that what it would be? Right, for cybernetic augmentations. Yeah. Yep.
I think so.
Yeah. Biotech's kit.
Yeah, biotechs.
Bio.
Yeah. And there is the bonus proficiency rule on tools. So if there was a tool you wanted to get proficiency, you just have to explain how you do it. If you still have some proficiencies left.
I do. I don't think I've spent a single one as of yet. So for this one, why he has it? Well, he's had hobbies in the past, and working with people occasionally is line of work. He may get someone missing a limb or four, and has to recompensate them. So it makes them new limbs so they don't stop working for it. He wants to keep them employed. Finding good help is hard.
That's fair. All right. So with your backstory of Reclaimer, this is pretty dark. All right. So yeah, I'll say that if you wanted to spend a day, and you can do that while traveling.
Now we would need to get the implements for a biotech. If you're willing to spend half, I'm willing to spend half.
What's half the cost?
That's $450. I just looked it up. So
Oh,
$225
yeah.
each.
Yeah, I'm done for
Okay.
that.
All right,
Nice.
because I might use them too. Who knows?
Sorry that the bit's taking a little while here.
Yeah.
I'll let you carry him because Orgus isn't very strong.
So do we all have enough med kits and all that? Because I
I've still got two.
I still have
so-
two. This probably be the place to buy it.
I've got two. I've got two trauma kits. I've got Might as well buy a power pack, right? I mean, I'm already here, so let's do one of those. Power cell, excuse me. So for a whopping 10 credits. Oh boy, watch the bank, boys.
If anybody needs credits, I don't see too much I need to buy for topic. I've got like 3,800 still, so.
What could we possibly need on the road? Oh, I wonder.
Man,
Restraining
out
roll?
of
Wait, no.
out of all the characters, this is actually one of the few who wouldn't recommend buying spies. There.
Oh, is Caesar a spice user too?
Nah, he just doesn't judge. No, he
Yes.
judges, but if someone can prove their worth, then he doesn't mind.
So what is the how are space drugs in the Cataclysm? How is that market fared? Jeez.
You know, surprisingly well.
Well,
It happens when things suck. Everyone wants drugs. Sure, we could build a farm and have food, or let's get the drug right. Let's drug trade go up and going. Yeah.
hell yeah. Woo. Food? Nay. You know, I'm not sure. I'll just buy another med pack. Why not? It's only 300 credits, right? So,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same thing. Okay, so I bought the macro binoculars and then just another med pack.
All right.
Oh, that's good. Would we think that like fire or plasma does anything extra to the ones that are sunlight sensitive?
ooh.
I don't think you'd have an indication either way.
Okay. Either way, he's stupid. He'll buy a couple incendiary grenades. So he'll buy 275. He'll buy 3 of those. Here, get my calculator out real quick.
All right.
You know, even though does
825.
either Reclaimer or Revelation have a repair kit on him?
Neither one.
Neither one.
They do not plan on buying any. They're able to heal themselves. If Reclaimer gets knocked down with no form of healing, he is quite screwed, however.
Next. I mean,
And what does it take to actually heal you? Like, let's say if one of us try to do it, what do you actually have to do to heal you?
It's its
Repair
own
kit?
separate form because I'm playing a droid.
So now that Tavik is established, he knows how to wield a mechanics kit. He's just gonna buy. He'll like snoop through Reclaimer's gear and realize there's no repair kit around. He'll pick one up. So he's got credits to spare. They're surprisingly expensive though.
yeah,
He's gonna pick one up.
$750.
He's gonna pick one up and grumble about it like to Gus, like Griffin repair kit. They're gouging us.
This is why I do not have any. Too rich for my blood, and I don't even have any blood currently on me.
The ominous
Recheck that.
yet
Never mind.
once again escapes this droid's. Oh well, yet.
We all have plans. You have plans, don't you, Doctor?
I don't plan on getting more blood for myself.
Why not?
My circulatory system is working fine as it is currently.
Could be better.
No, I don't think so. But repair kits. So I'm seeing it includes the basic tools needed to repair a droid after being engaged after being damaged in combat. The kit has 3 uses.
Yeah, it kind of cuts off there. I just noticed. Yeah,
Okay.
so 3 uses is what I'm gonna go with, but I think it's the same as the trauma kit. So it's basically they've been knocked out.
I will also add a repair kit, as I care so much about the Reclaimers and the Revelations.
Yeah.
As
will say-
infuriating as it can be.
That is the interesting thing about Droid and why I've never tried to play one is because the healing Sucks.
Yeah, it's
The
a good thing.
situation, yeah, like no one can help you. So
You're
I'm
on
gonna
your
be
own.
honest. I love the like bonus action. You get to use a hit dice to heal yourself in the midst of combat. I've never had good luck with those though. Never once.
You really haven't. Like between the droid, the Trandoshan you played, like every time, like let's go 3 or 4.
yeah.
Yeah. Sad times.
Well,
Alright.
I think. Oh, I was like, oh, stealth fuel generator 8,000. Okay, cool. Off we go. Off we go. I've got enough trauma kits. I've got enough, I think. Maybe not. Emergency shelter, emergency raft.
That actually might be useful.
Yeah, right. The good thing about this game, it's like, oh, this might. Yeah, we're not going to go into space. We're stuck here.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
You know what? I will. But yeah, you owe me a life debt, and this is heavy.
You see Gus like Topic's eyes like narrow, like just like little reptilian slits, and he goes, "I will, Griffin, take it." Just like through like gritted teeth, this snout.
You will thank me if we run into a body of water that we cannot master. Besides, it's my.
Take a look at this quilt. It's quite nice. I think I'll get this. It will be a gift for the captain, or what we use to cover his body.
That went both ways. So,
Right? I was like, oh, that's sweet. Oh, geez.
I cover
right.
all my bases.
All right. So Tavik can add an emergency raft to his inventory. I already reduced the amount of credits. It's like, I'm not asking you to carry my food. You know, it's.
Oh, that's
you see Tavik had in his hand like an incendiary cell that he was gonna buy. I was about to mention this. He was gonna buy it for Gus, like the fire damage to the worms, and he puts it right back. He goes, "Yes, I will carry your raft."
It is our raft. To be fair,
it becomes useful to be our raft.
Oh, so until then, I swear you give him an arm and he's ungrateful. It's longer than his own previous arm. So what if it falls off every now and again and again and again?
Do not
When you
worry,
sold me on
Tavik.
the arm, you said it would be very rare. 1 in 20, you said. But it occurs quite often, nearly every day.
Well, what can I say? Whatever your god is, he or she does not smile upon you very often.
Of course they don't. I've sworn a life debt to you.
I gotta love the. I didn't ask you for a life debt. That's between you and your. Anyway.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else anyone wants to do or
I
buy?
did.
Or... All right.
Reclaimer's buying a bunch of rations. Just like a feast for when the captain is saved. Or a nice funeral feast for when he is dead.
All right. So give me so it's going to be a piloting check.
Careful. Piloting check. Careful. Work as a
Whoever's
team,
driving.
people. Work as a team. We got 2 pilots. Help each other, man. Help each other.
Well, I will assist the.
Don't say it.
I will. He wants to drive. He seems to be very enthusiastic.
No, you are
about it.
driving this time.
Yeah,
I shall
he's
be too
building.
busy creating a new arm for Tavik.
Oh, okay. I was thinking you were. Here I was
Going
worried
to
that
assist him.
the electromagnetics in the atmosphere were interfering with your processes. Okay.
Not
You'll-
yet.
You will let me drive only because you are trying to show me up. How magnanimous of you.
Yes,
And
thank
Topik
you.
looks excited, but he still thinks he's building a new, like, his cybernetic arm. Not in it's Thomas looking over his shoulder like, oh, this will be great. This will be great.
Why is it right-handed though?
I was just gonna
Yeah,
say.
the arm will be
Talbot
like
doesn't
this.
understand at all. He doesn't. He's not intelligent. He's not intelligent.
Real fast, can I give a roll for during the travel time, like the quality of this arm?
It's normally it's a standard, so you don't have to roll for it. But if you want to give a roll and see if something happens, I'm gonna say no.
14, and also opponent aptitude to the good doctor for his piloting check.
Nice.
Let's see. Hopefully, I don't need it.
Noise.
Nice, some expert piloting.
Let's throw it on there. Let's.
Actually, it goes for an hour, so you might as well use it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you fly expertly. You can tell that it's pretty easy terrain. You're just gliding along. You're actually doing really well. Unfortunately, it is in bad shape. So it's unreliable 5. So someone go ahead and give me 5 d10s,
You guys
or
want
you
to do
can
1d10? 1d10.
your choice.
I'm done with
By
that.
1d10?
That is essentially a coin flip.
Yeah.
Anybody feeling brave?
I'll do it. I'll do
go
5.
first. Oh, you want to do 5 or?
Oh, brave!
Well,
one.
whatever you want to do.
Someone's got to do 2 anyways. So
Okay, so I'll roll
we're
2
on 4
then.
today. Hey, go 2.
Okay, I'll roll 2, and then everybody else roll 1.
all right, so far so
Alright.
good. Just don't get a 1.
Don't get one?
Who's left?
This
Yeah.
goes.
Oh, Gus, the good doctor.
2, 3,
Yeah,
4.
nice.
All right, just give me one more. Someone
I
go
think-
ahead and give it to me.
1, 2.
I thought we did
No,
5.
that's 5.
What's it
Did we
two?
do
I rolled 2. I rolled 2.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, nice. So you did make it. Okay, so a 5 and a 3. All right, cool. So surprisingly, to admit, I did not expect this. You guys actually make it. So you make it down, and you see kind of where the captain had left his speeder. And you'll notice that the river is quite swift. Here, it's not as calm as it was up north. And you can tell that they actually had crossed the river. They forded it. And then you can see the trees on the other side, and the forest is very dense. Forrest would know this also. He traveled a little. Taking the speeder into the forest would be tricky. Possible, but tricky. You would have to kind of navigate carefully, and it would be a slow going. But yeah, if you guys want to spend the time, you can take the speeder with you. You can even take the captain's speeder, so it's not busted up. And so, or you can cross the river on foot, which however group wants to proceed.
Do we think because we slow going, would it be faster for us to walk or faster for us to still ride?
Going through the forest, you would, if you wanted to, it would probably be about the same, to be honest.
Did I say walk?
Yeah, because you might have to kind of navigate your path carefully. So there may be times where you do gain a little ground, but then you're going to have to kind of carefully go through that because it's very thick vegetation.
Then you said they forded the river. Did they run any rope cables across and kind of use it as a guide? Is there anything left over there so that we know?
That's exactly it. Yep, you would see the rope that they used.
So we can test that, and then I'm saying we go across manually, but I'm not a dictator. So what do you guys want to do?
So with our data that we have for the tribes, do we see any? Were the tribes near this area for the natives?
No, you would know that the tribes don't come this far down south.
Okay.
And
or
the
this
captain
far east.
and the captain's speeder obviously is not look like they banged it around a lot. So
it's not missing a hood and on fire.
Exactly. No one stole the tires and just left the speeder, so we're good. So yeah, I'm good with fording the river if you guys are.
Yeah, let's walk it.
So I'll try to test to make sure that their rope to cross the river is still sturdy and If I could reinforce it. I bought 2 ropes, so I have actually 2 50-foot fiber cable cord. So if I need to reinforce that, I will.
Yeah, no, it's definitely sturdy. You can tell that they took some type of like raft or boat across, and you don't see that, but you could either ford it on foot going through the river, or if you wanted to use a raft of some kind, you couldn't. Either way, you can easily make it across on the other side. It is getting kind of late at night, so you would kind of know that you wouldn't be able to travel that much further unless you wanted to travel through the dark anyways.
Can we find their last campsite? Because I'm sure they may have done the same thing.
Yeah, so fours would have known. Actually, you were with them, so they would have known that they kind of waited till morning, and then went across. So their campsite would be like a day's walk in.
Okay, so then we'll just have to camp on the other side. So, yeah, if you guys are good for camping tonight, we'll just secure the area and use their emergency shelter. Try the comms real quick just to see if we can reach the captain at all via comms. Probably
You
not
would
gonna
know
work,
the
but
comms.
try it.
Not only can you not reach the captain, you would know the comms are dead. You can't reach back to the Genesis either.
Got it.
All right. And I think so. That's where we're probably going to wrap up for the night then.
All right.
So next session, we'll cross the river, go see if you guys can find the captain, and find what lies in the forest.
Hopefully it's a level up.
And you do get to level up.
Oh, what?
Oh, today?
Wait, really?
Nice.
Yeah, sir. I didn't. I thought I told you. That. I was like unsure. I was like, did I tell him? If not, I got to tell him tonight. Don't forget. And then you mentioned it, so I was like, oh, I did.
Oh man, I'm glad I did. I'm totally glad I did. I was
Yes,
fishing for
no.
it. Like, hell yeah.
Sweet,
All right.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so you guys will get to level up. So you go ahead and have that for next session.
Time to
We are
multi-class.
level 4 now.
Perfect.
Scholar time, baby. Woo!
Nice.
Oh, you multi-classing?
Oh yeah. I honestly, I would have started to like with scholar, but I really like the whole intelligence instead of wisdom for medicine. And like Sawbones is the only one that gets that, which like, should totally be a physician thing. That's a whole
Oh,
nother.
the physician doesn't get that.
No, I know. I was surprised.
Interesting.
Considering how like intelligence heavy the scholar class is. I was like, this makes sense here.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so that's
I
why I
guess
went
I know.
Sawbones. Maybe if they
Get something
amend it,
nice.
hell
This
yeah.
time,
Well, oh
Yeah.
boy.
yeah. So you guys will be level 4 for right. You guys are level 3 now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you'll be level 4 for next session.
Looking forward to it.
So my feet's gonna be so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we do the the same thing that you do, Tegan. Right. So you can take a feat plus a +1 ability modifier. So
Nice.
ASA +1, I think is what they call it.
Mhm.
Or ASAP.
I could get the lore master to have expertise in lore.
good fit for the
Which is
museum.
insanely fitting.
Mhm.
Like it's almost weird if you don't. Oh man.
Sweet. So any last words before we wrap up, Keith?
No, I thought great session. You also get another inspiration. So I think you were down to 2, so you're up to 3. The having him carry the raft was hilarious. So no, really good session, everyone. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed it. So
Oh, thoroughly.
Definitely, man. All right. Well, everybody come join us. Join us next week for Invasion with the crew. They're in the Shadowlands of Kashyyyk, and they're going to unravel more of the mystery of the Crusaders. They already fought some spiders, which that was like my favorite role of the month so far. And there'll be more spiders to fight. So come back to that. And then join us in 2 weeks, which would be the 23rd. Yeah, 23rd for Stranded episode 5. See how that goes. And then come back for next Wednesday for one of my favorites, which is more of a goofy session with the Heroes of Arcadia, the Moods and Masterminds game.
And then stay tuned for more information on the Hordes for the Matt Colville's MCDMs thing, because I really want to run that. So that's coming soon. No date yet, but I got to get that organized. So that's coming around. But thanks for joining us, everybody. And until next time.